Hi, everyone. My name is Rory Somerson, and I am a candidate for Thurston County Commissioner District 1. Welcome to County Conversations. It is another beautiful day in Thurston County, and we're really excited to talk about how you can get involved in your community as well. So, I started running for County Commission back in November is when I announced my candidacy. And my whole reasoning for wanting to get involved with the County Commission and running for this position was to bring a new focus towards, centering the needs of our people and our constituents. I really wanted to make sure that we were advocating for, speaking to, and creating spaces that were representative of generational needs, of minority needs, marginalized communities, and that we really promoted that representation. I wanted us to be looking at our housing concerns that we have, our unhoused population that we have, and mental health crises that we face in our communities, and seeking solutions for those problems. Beyond that, one of the issues that we even see in our point in time is that mental health is one of the primary driving factors for houselessness in our area. And so those issues were really important to me. I was also really passionate about, am really passionate about environmental concerns and environmental needs. And so these are all things that the commission has a direct say in and control over to a large extent. And so what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about what commissioners do, just a brief overview of what commissioners do, and then we'll go into some discussion about some local nonprofits that we've got in the area that deal with community advocacy and outreach. And then we're going to talk about one of the greatest ways that you can get involved yourself. So commissioners are a really interesting elected office here in Thurston. They are both executive and judicial. They sit at it's quasi-judicial body. So like when there is an issue with an elected official or a decision that's been made, they sit in review of those decisions and of that elected official. Beyond that, they deal with budgets. So all the budget that we have in the county and all the approvals that get done for the various departments all run through the county commission. The county commissioners also deal a lot with land use and rezoning throughout the county. And so we really want to make sure that we have voices on the county commission that are ready and willing to have the discussion about what the actual needs of the constituents are and how we meet those needs in terms of zoning and land use. Also, we're dealing with a lot of other things in terms of emergency response right now is a given. The commissioners are ongoing making decisions about how to adjust budgets in the future. They also make decisions surrounding the comprehensive plan that we utilize in the county to make decisions over a longer period of time, the strategic plans that we use. And they also are the ones that are responsible for appointing people to the various citizens advisory boards and committees. So let's go and jump into that a little bit. The commissioners themselves appoint membership and citizens to over 26 boards and committees and advisory councils that are subcommittees and commissions underneath the Board of Commissioners. In that capacity, they are effectively choosing members from the community to sit on those boards and act as representatives for the community. And so these right now, the committees, there are 8 vacancies open on the committees right now. And we have links down below in our description for how to see what committees are actually available. It's through the Thurston County website. For the Board of County Commissioners. And so you'll find on that website in the link below that there's a quick and easy application that you can do. It's a Word document that you can fill out and you just send it back in with the instructions that are provided on the application for the actual committee that you'd like or are interested in sitting on. And so these committees, they deal with things, everything ranging from the fair. There's a committee and a board for the fair, for Thurston County Fair, but also in terms of like public transportation, agriculture, and stuff like that. So there are a large variety of committees and commissions that you can participate in yourself as a citizen. And it's the commissioners that make the appointments to those positions. So beyond that, I wanted to have just a quick discussion about some of the local nonprofits that we've got in the area that you can also participate in when you're seeking to get more involved in your community and in the county itself. So one of those great nonprofits that I love so much is one that I sit on myself. I'm the vice president of the board for Partners in Prevention Education. And we deal with outreach and advocacy for domestic violence and sexual violence survivors. And a lot of our outreach and advocacy is actually focused on the camps here in Thurston County and how we can provide resources to members of our community who are currently residing in those camps. We provide counseling services. We provide, specifically for the trans community, we provide gender affirmation services and supplies as needed. We are contracted with the county right now to provide emergency outreach. So that's stuff like supplies, so like water, Band-Aids, emergency supplies of that nature, foodstuffs, clothing. And so that's all volunteer driven. So all of the work that we do in PIPE is, we've got our board and we've got our executive staff, but then it's volunteers from the community who sign up and actually do that outreach with us. And so that's one of the great organizations that you can participate in here locally. Again, links are provided down at the bottom of the video in the description. Another one that I want to mention that is really important to the community is Safe Place. So Safe Place does a lot of advocacy and services for violence survivors here in Thurston as well. And they're one of the primary outreach service providers in the area that's a nonprofit for domestic violence and sexual violence. They provide housing placement, temporary housing placement, and resources, counseling, stuff along those lines. And they are also looking for a lot of volunteers for community members to join and promote their efforts here in the county. Community Youth Services is another great nonprofit organization here in the community, and they focus on youth, obviously youth services. And so the cool thing about Community Youth Services and what their vision really is and their mission is to empower at-risk youth and their families to meet all the various goals around safety and stability and belonging in the community to provide a successful, thriving Thurston. The other nonprofit I wanted to mention just really briefly today is Grub. It was in my previous video. It did get brought up, so I wanted to touch on Grub again for you today. Their website, again, also listed in the description below, is goodgrub.org. So Grub is awesome because they are doing a lot of work to provide healthy food for people in the community. And so that's also all volunteer based. So if you want to get involved with an organization that deals with healthy and sustainable food practices and connecting community to that, then Grub is a great place to go and participate in those volunteer efforts. Now, one of the other things that is, vitally essential in local governments are precinct committee officers. And so I myself am a precinct committee officer and have been for almost a year now. Precinct committee officers are kind of the bottom, the most foundational portion of local government. We are elected officials, and we serve in a volunteer capacity, meaning we're not getting paid for it here in Washington. But our efforts are really structured around making sure that all of our organizing efforts within our parties and in our government are effective. And so I have an amazing guest with me today to talk more about what PCOs do and how to get involved. So again, PCO is a precinct committee officer. And so my guest today is Justin Baird with the Washington State Progressive Caucus, incredibly knowledgeable about PCOs and how to get involved. And so I would like to turn it over for a second to Justin to introduce himself. Unmute. We got to get Justin unmuted. He's muted here, and I think we've got him now.
I was staying in my place there. So
no, it's great. It's great.
Well, Justin Baird, and I am very active in my local community, and I'm really happy to see there are so many ways people can get involved in Thurston County, because it's not necessarily with the county commission, but also just in the community. But for those who want to actually get involved and steer where government goes, it starts with the political parties, both the Democrat and Republican. The way it works is whatever parties are considered major, and you're major if in the last general election your party received more than 5% of the vote, then you can have PCOs. So right now that's just the two, Democrat and Republican. And it really works like this. You ever wonder who they are that control everything? We're always saying, they did this, those Democrats, those Republicans, but where did they come from? Well, the leader of those parties is elected by the members of the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, and the Republican National Committee. So let's use the DNC, for example. The DNC chair is elected by the DNC members. The DNC members are elected by the state committee members in each state, and the state committee members are elected by PCOs. So you have an effect all the way up the chain. And when you become a PCO, you have the right to vote and elect the boards and elect the state committee people in both your legislative district, of which there are 49 legislative districts in Washington, and in your county, and there's 39 counties. So you have a lot of power there. When there is a vacancy in office, when we have a retiring senator or legislator, they take another job or they die in office, then the counties have to seek recommendations from the PCOs in that particular legislative district, and they have to stick within that 3. So you have that power to decide somebody's political future, and you suddenly become very popular to a candidate as they're trying to use their influence with you. But that's how you can help guide that discussion. And it's really important to get the right people who are running both the Democratic Republican Party organizations locally, because they set the tone for the state, which sets the tone for the nation. So anytime you're saying, wow, I can't believe that they are doing it, remember, they are those people like you and I that actually take the time to get involved. Now, the filing period is next Monday through the 15th, the same time when somebody running for governor or for senator or for Thurston County Commissioner would be registering to vote. The thing is, the filing fee, since it's based on your salary, is 0. So there's no excuse. You want to go to fileforpco.com. It'll tell you what precinct you're in, where at that county level you actually register to run. And then after you get registered, you'll appear on the August primary ballot, unless nobody challenges you. And if nobody challenges you, you're automatically elected. You take office on December 1 for a 2-year period. If, however, somebody else files, then you're going to be on the ballot for your neighborhood. Then you can go around to your neighborhood, maybe 6 blocks, and campaign with your neighbors. And hopefully then you'll win. But it's all decided in August. And that's a great way to get started and take care of getting people out to vote. And it's really important for a precinct committee officer to be going out and making sure that people are getting their ballots, that they understand how to vote, that you get them any kind of education or materials they need to make that decision, and also basically connecting with your neighbors and finding what they need. I know a lot of precinct committee officers who take it seriously. They're in a committee and they've organized block watches, food drives, communal childcare. Get involved with your community, and PCO is just one part of that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Well, and that's been my experience as a PCO also. When I initially took the role of PCO here, I got it by appointment. So the person who was operating as the PCO in my precinct happened to also be the party chair for Thurston County Democrats. And so because of how much work a party chair is doing, organizing all of that for all the work for the party, I said, I would really love to help out in any way that I possibly can. And it became this discussion about stepping up as a precinct committee officer myself. And so I went in and submitted my application to the executive board for the Thurston County Democrats, and I was appointed to the position. Now, this upcoming Monday, like Justin had mentioned, is the beginning of filing week. And so not only did I declare my candidacy for Thurston County Commissioner, but I also declared my candidacy to retain my seat as a PCO. And I felt that was really important. I think it's really important that elected officials retain those positions because it bolsters our ability to communicate with our community. And so in my capacity as a precinct committee officer, I've organized all kinds of get out the vote efforts. We've done voter registrations. We've done flyers to keep everybody informed. It's been a really fun process.
And Rory, haven't you seen that by your becoming involved in your neighborhood as a PCO, that it's opened up your eyes to all the other different community organizations?
Oh, yeah.
Even led you to running for office?
It truly has. It truly has. I feel like once I got involved, it really it kind of pushed me that much further to want to do more for the community, because you start to really see what all the various needs of your community is. So like where I live, it's mostly renters. Most everyone in my community here in my precinct is a renter, myself included. And so when I started hearing about the struggles of being a renter and realizing that I lived those struggles myself and could understand them, then I also felt that we needed a greater voice at higher levels of governance. And that was what prompted me to run. And so, yeah, I think it's very important that we are promoting friends, family, people that we know are great community advocates within their communities to run for precinct committee officer. It's really easy, super fun process. And I think generally speaking, everybody that I've talked to has really enjoyed the experience. So Justin, is there anything else you thought was really important that people needed to know about becoming or being a precinct committee officer?
Well, other than going to file4pco.com, where it'll lead you to your particular county's filing. The other thing that's important to know is that you can do as much or as little of this involvement as you wish. I encourage you to make sure you go to these meetings. That's the first time you hear about they're going to tear down something, they're going to build something, that there's going to be a change in traffic or in schools. And generally, if you're not involved in those groups, you're going to be the last to know, or you hear about it when the decision's already been made.
Right.
So when you're a PCO, you tend to be there early, and you actually get to sit on boards and in forums where you can actually give input on that. So I'm saying, if you want your neighborhood to be the best it can be and to be more inclusive and provide for everyone, be there. As I like to say, you're either at the table or you're on the menu.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Well, Justin, I wanted to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming in and being a guest on the stream and kind of informing our community about what it means to be a precinct committee officer.
Glad to be here, and good luck with your race.
Oh, thank you so much, Justin. You have a great day. So, everyone, like I was saying, there are links below at the bottom of the video in the description. One of those links is the one that Justin had pointed out there, getting involved with as a PCO and the instructional steps behind it. So you'll find that link down there and below. You'll find the links for the nonprofit organizations that I mentioned, direct links to them. All of their websites include different options to get involved, and illustrates those options. I've included the links that you need for you to go to the Thurston County website, Board of County Commissioners, and look at what committees are actually available and which ones are currently in appointment process, what you can actually apply for. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, and I will provide you with all the information that I can collect for you as quickly as I possibly can. I do want to remind everybody, go ahead and visit my website at www.voterory.com. On the website, you can see what we're up to. You can watch our latest videos. You can submit questions for future videos. You can sign up to volunteer, and you can donate. So the best way to get involved in a local race, if you're not going to want to do PCO or be on one of those committees, is to actually get involved with a campaign locally, so you can still be heard and make yourself heard. So thank you again for joining us today on this stream. I hope everybody enjoys Mother's Day. It's coming up tomorrow, and go out there and enjoy that beautiful weather we're having here in Thurston. And I will talk to you later.